Hi, I'm Yakov Horowitz, and I'd like to share with you a short thought on Parshas VaYishlach in this week's Parsha, specifically as it relates to the issue of the situation with Dinah, the daughter of Yakov, and her assault, and Yaakov's response, and specifically the interaction with Shimon and Levi. The story is as follows. Yaakov was on his way home from Lavan's house. He was going back to his father's home, and Dinah, his daughter, was assaulted by the son of the mayor of the city. Yaakov was quiet till his kids came back from the field. Shimon and Levi took the initiative. They went to the leaders of Shechem, of the city, and they said, "Listen, if you want to marry our daughter, our sister, you have to all get a bris milah, circumcise yourself." On the third day, when they were all weak after the circumcision, Shimon and Levi killed the people of the town and took their sister Dinah back. And, a number of questions arise. First of all, when Yaakov rebukes them, he says, "Achartam oisi lahavisheni b'yashvei haaretz hakanani v'aprizi v'ani misei mispar and v'harguni." So he says like this. Yaakov tells them two things. You embarrassed us, and you're going to get us all killed. Why didn't he just tell them you're murderers? Right? Why did he rebuke them for that? He should have told them straight, why did you murder the whole town? And more interestingly, Shimon and Levi didn't really respond to Yaakov's complaints. Yaakov said, "You're going to get us killed, and you're going to embarrass us." Shimon and Levi answer, "Hachazoni asas achasenu," is our sister a Zaina. Okay, the literal translation of Zaina is a prostitute. That's what Zaina means. Rashi has a one-word answer, and he says Hefker. He changes the translation from the literal translation to the word Hefker, which means ownerless. Why did he change that? And why did Yaakov not respond? In my book, when two people, duke it out verbally and one of them stops talking, obviously they conceded the point. Shimon and Levi didn't answer his question. He said, "You're going to get us killed and you're embarrassing us." They said, "Well, our sister's not Hefker." How does that answer the question? And why did Yaakov seem to agree with them? I'd like to share some thoughts on this. First of all, on the simplest level, the Torah didn't cover it up. It wasn't a shanda for the Torah to talk about it. Obviously, there are lessons to be learned. And one of the lessons is that we need to discuss things like this when it happens and learn lessons from it. Who assaulted Dinah, the son of the mayor? And this fits the pattern that's been going on since the beginning of time, where powerful people abuse weak people. And they prey on them, and they say, look at today's headlines with Bill Cosby, a couple of years ago, and all the elected officials and entertainers that have been accused by serious accusations of assault by women. You keep hearing the same thing again and again. These people had positions of power. They took advantage of the women who were voiceless. And the women keep, "Why did you wait so long to come forward?" Who would believe me? Me against him? This is the same pattern that goes on all the time. What I found fascinating a few years ago is when I was reading the text, it hadn't occurred to me, I read it so many times. Yaakov Avinu says, "You're going to embarrass," what does he tell his children? You embarrassed me and we're going to get killed. Yaakov spoke like a victim. Yaakov spoke like a victim. Don't we hear victims saying that all the time? "I can't come forward, so-and-so started up with a child of mine, but they're going to kill me, they're going to destroy me, my reputation." We think of Yaakov as our patriarch, Yaakov, one of us, and he is, of course. But at the time he was leaving, he left the house of Lavan, and Yaakov says, "Bikish Yaakov leisha v'shalva," we say in next week's Pasha. Yaakov wanted to be left alone. Yaakov didn't know anybody in Shechem. He didn't know anybody in that city. And the son of the mayor took advantage of this daughter of the new guy in town because he felt he could get away with it. Several of the commentaries say that the reason that the people in the city were chayiv misa, they had deserved to be killed, is because they were actively protecting the abuser. The conversation between Yaakov and Shimon and Levi and the father of the abuser took place in the abuser's house. They didn't release Dinah and have this conversation, "Let's marry each other and we'll do business together." They kept her hostage, and the penalty for that is death. So they killed because they had no choice. They wanted to get their sister back. And that's really the message. Shimon and Levi told their father, again, this is my own thought, this piece of it, but I really think it's what needs to be said. Shimon and Levi told their father, you said we embarrassed you and you're going to get us all killed. Shimon and Levi said as follows, Father, Yaakov, you think we embarrassed you by standing up for our sister? No, it's a bigger embarrassment not to do anything. It's a bigger embarrassment if they let them do whatever they want to our sister and we're silent. Silence is not an option. And you say we're going to get killed? How much more likely are we to get killed if we let this happen? And I think that's why the Torah, Rashi changes the word from the literal translation of Zaina to Hefker. They weren't discussing her moral standards. They were discussing the fact that she is not Hefker. Hefker means ownerless. You know what they said? They said, we are ready to die for her. We're going to go and protect her and take her out and stand with her. Our sister is not Hefker. It's not okay to rape and molest children. And that's why we need to stand with abuse victims. The most powerful thing that we can do for a victim is to stand with them, to let them know they're not alone. I know it's hard to believe, but we keep hearing again and again and again from victims that they say that the not being believed afterwards was more painful than the abuse. And it's hard to understand. And the truth of the matter is, speak to victims yourself, you'll hear it from them. What happens is that the abuse was over quickly, and they just couldn't wait to go and tell the village elders or people in control, the heads of whatever organization or community, and then they'll be believed and justice will be done. And they sometimes, hopefully, it really is changing. It's much better now, but there was a time when they almost were never believed. And that's what they need. They come forward, and if we don't believe them, we're perpetuating this horrible abuse. We need to do what Shimon and Levi said. It's not okay to molest our children. It's not okay to get away with it. You're not going to be accepted back in the community and protected. We're going to report you to the authorities and get you off the streets where you can't harm any more children. And the message to the victims has to be, you're not Hefker. You're part of our community. We're sorry for your pain, and we're going to stand with you. That's why Rashi says that Shimon and the Levi, Achei Dina, took their swords. Shimon and Levi, the brothers of Dina. We knew that it said Dina was Yaakov's daughter. Of course, they were her brothers. Rashi says they were willing to die for her. That's why they were called their brothers. And we need to be brothers and sisters to the abuse victims in our community. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you.